Hamish Shephard, creator of bridebook.co.uk, has developed an app to help you plan a whole wedding. And Hamish joins us now. Good to see you this morning. A wedding in your garden? Do you think is this going to take off, do we think?
So at the moment, what we're seeing is a huge demand for couples to get married. The wedding industry's had an incredibly tough time over the last 2 years. 80% of weddings take place in the summer, and that means most businesses haven't had any business for almost 2 years now. And the industry's suffering enormously. And on Bridebook, actually about 70% of UK weddings are planned on our app. And we have a huge backlog of couples waiting to get married. And the government has now allowed ceremonies or receptions even to take place in private gardens. But the key thing that we're pushing for is to make sure as soon as possible, full-scale weddings are allowed. That's what people are waiting for. Outdoor weddings are allowed, marriage ceremonies in Scotland, but in England, they're still not allowed. You're allowed to have a 15-person reception in your garden at the moment. That will go up to 30 people in a month's time. At the same time, you could have 1,000-person indoor event. But if it's a wedding, it's only 30 people, which feels rather ridiculous. And the same as for funerals. We're waiting for the government to make sure from the 21st of June weddings are allowed to happen.
But there's something nice, Hamish, isn't there? I mean, every cloud has a silver lining. Isn't there something nice that people may be reassessing what they're doing and going, do you know what, we're going to have a small, intimate family wedding. It's going to be, you know, so this much more intimate event rather than a big showcase. That could be quite nice, can't it?
Yes, for some couples that can be very popular. For the majority of couples, what we're seeing is they want to do a huge celebration, really as the post-COVID party almost. You won't have seen lots of family members and lots of friends for over a year. So we expect weddings, and we already see weddings are going to be much larger than they've been before. Over 1 million people are planning on getting married in the next year in the UK in the next 15 months.
What? Hold on. Wind that back. A million people in the UK getting married in the next 15 months. Wow.
Yeah. So in this summer and next summer, in a normal year, there are 250,000 weddings, so 500,000 people, and that obviously hasn't been able to take place last year. So there's a large backlog. So rolling over the next 2 years, these are going to be the busiest years of weddings in history, as long as they can take place. The majority of couples who are getting married now, or planning on getting married, got engaged at Christmas 2018. The average engagement is now 30 months long, and they're all waiting for it. And 86% of couples who are planning on starting a family have postponed starting a family due to postponing their weddings. So there are huge societal consequences of weddings being held back. Often people look at weddings rather condescendingly and think of them being rather frivolous. These are hugely important events in people's lives and in the fabric of society. And whilst cinemas are opening in a month's time, making sure weddings can get back and these large, huge life moment celebrations can take place, will be amazing for society and for the couples themselves.
You talk about being frivolous. You talk about these massive, sort of large-scale weddings and big parties, and I can understand why people would want to do that, but people are short of cash, aren't they, at the moment? I mean, are people sort of going to want to scale back a little bit just because it's going to be a bit cheaper?
Well, for most couples, there's no better reason in their life than to have a great party with their closest friends, celebrating finding someone they want to spend the rest of their lives with. And this is a hugely aspirational moment. It's a once-in-a-lifetime moment for most people, and it's a moment to celebrate. And the world needs celebration more than ever. And actually, a wedding is an amazing moment. You're having all your family, your closest friends. And there's no better reason to party, really. And lots of people are looking forward to that. And often, if you're lucky, or your parents might contribute to it, your friends might contribute to it. And it's a great moment for people coming together.
What about for those people who don't want to wait? and are looking at, sort of moving outside, doing something at an outside venue, very, very small things. But what would your advice be, to still make it a very special day?
Yeah, so I think the day, however many people you have, can be an enormously special day. We're seeing a lot of couples who don't want to wait any longer. If they waited 30 months to get married and want to start a family, the average age has gone up almost 10 years in a generation of when couples get married. So people want to get a move on. So we're seeing people do smaller ceremonies. There's actually a thing we're seeing now. You have a cereMINI, which is just doing the sort of legal part in a small intimate family, and then doing your cereMANY, which is your large party maybe later on in the year or next year when friends are able to travel and everything's at much more normality. But a wedding's an amazing moment, whether it's just you as the couple or a larger one. A huge issue that we're seeing actually, and something I'd love to raise now, is actually we're already seeing registrars not have capacity to allow new weddings to take place. This has happened in Essex and was announced yesterday that they won't be able to conduct any more weddings any more marriages than the ones they already have on their books, which is hugely disappointing for couples who haven't scheduled their marriage yet but want to get married this year, and it's something we think is important to raise and needs to get solved very quickly.
Oh, yes, I know. A lot of people having to be very patient with their nuptials, I have to say. Hey, it's good to talk to you this morning. Thank you. Hopefully things have quietened down a little bit by autumn 2023. Fingers crossed.